Welcome here, everybody, to Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410. It's the final day of the Kearney tournament. Great Plains Health Post 163 taking on the Expos Post 22 of Rapid City. And it's been a tough couple of days here. Great Plains Health started actually on a fantastic note when Great Plains Health on Friday took down the Northside Dirt Devils of Colorado 17-6, and we're pretty excited about how the rest of this tournament was going to shape up to be before it all unfortunately came tumbling down on Saturday when they faced both Millard South and Millard North in day number 2 of the Kearney tournament in a doubleheader. And unfortunately for North Platte, they went 0-2 in that day. They lost 4-3 on a walk-off single into right field with the bases loaded against Millard South. Had been leading for what felt like the entirety of that game. Got the lead in the top of the second inning at a 3-1 mark and held it all the way up until the bottom of the 7th when they gave up the game-tying run, and then ultimately, here's correction, the bottom of the 6th, then ultimately gave up the game-winning run in the bottom of the 7th inning. So they had to shake it off pretty quickly as they were facing Millard North then next in game number 2 of that doubleheader. Millard North, of course, at the time 14-12 on the season, and just like game number 1, North Platte got out to a nice lead up 3-0 and was cruising really. Actually, that's the word I'd use. They were cruising so comfortably against Millard North until the top of the 5th inning, where it all just came crumbling down for North Platte. They gave up, I think, 7 runs in that inning, and the rest of the way gave up the next 2 to lose that game 9-3, and are now 1-2 here in the Kearney tournament. Now facing a very, very strong team in Rapid City. Course, the Post 22 Expos are who they are from Rapid City, and this is not even Rapid City's A team. That A team is 44-6 on the season, and of course they aren't making the trip here to Nebraska, but we get the Expos, who, not to scoff at either, 24-12 on this season. They actually are coming off of a 9-8 loss to Hastings yesterday. They were leading that game all throughout it at one point 7-1 before Hastings came back and won that game 9-8. They took down Grand Island Home Federal 4-0 on Saturday, then lost to Kearney 4-0. So a very, very strong Rapid City team, but it's going to be up to North Platte to put their best foot forward against this team as, again, you want to go into this last game here or come out of this last game at least with a positive feeling because Districts is next week, and that's the next time we're going to be seeing North Platte play is next week at Districts at 7 o'clock. So they would love to put probably their best foot forward here today against a Rapid City team, but like yesterday, it's not going to be an easy go about. And like last year where a lot of the teams that were coming into this bracket that North Platte was in being a lot weaker than this year's teams, it was pretty expected that North Platte was going to go 4-0 with how hot they were. Coming into this weekend, we knew it was going to be a little bit of a tougher stretch, but you felt the possibility that North Platte could at least either go 2-2 or maybe even 3-1, and on the good side go 4-0, but right now trying to salvage what has been a pretty tough last 2 days. They picked up the win on Friday, but in the last 24 hours it was pretty tough. So taking on, of course, the Expos of Rapid City again, 24-12. Great Plains Health, post 163. Taking on the Expos here in just a couple of minutes. When we come back, we'll have our Quick Stop pregame, our Double Dips Ice Creamery starting lineup here on our Quick Stop pregame show, which is, of course, 24 locations open 24 hours a day. Quick Stop, always open right around the corner. We'll be back with more and then get you prepped for the start of the last game here in the Kearney tournament, FM 98.1 and AM 1410. Welcome back here to Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410, everybody. It's time. It is time for our Double Dips Ice Creamery starting lineup between Great Plains Health, post 163 and post 22, and the Expos. Expos 24 and 12 on the season from Rapid City. Of course, Great Plains Health 14 and 20 on the year. North Platte will be the home team in today's contest. But let's jump into our Double Dips Ice Creamery starting lineup. Double Dips Ice Creamery in the historic Canteen District in North Platte offers 24 plus different flavors of hand-dipped ice cream served in a variety of ways. Double Dips also offers homemade waffle cones and bowls alongside homemade fudge and freshly baked desserts. On the side of Rapid City and the Expos, leading off Daxton Karn at shortstop. Hudson Ugle will be on the mound here today for the Rapid City. Bridger Karn will be in center field, the brother of Dalton Karn. Reagan Turnquist at first base. Hunter Larson in the left field. Rain Kessler at right field. Sam Schroeder at third base. Jack Coley at catcher. And then Cooper Kimball at second base. As for Great Plains Health, post 163, Caden Johnson in center field. Connor Stifler will be taking the mound today for North Platte. Landon Greeno at first base. Easton Jones at third base. Ty Hanneborg at shortstop. Easton Geisler is catching. Tommy Haggard in left field. Mike McFadden in right field. And then Jacoby Silos at second base to start today's game off. Of course, Connor Stifler on the mound. 5.5 ERA. 4-1 Stifler. He's been looking pretty good in his pitching outings. I say good. It hasn't been, outstanding. But for somebody who rarely up until this point has been on the mound, whether it be in the juniors system for North Platte, and pretty much this season getting more innings than he's possibly gotten in the last couple seasons. He's been playing high school and Legion baseball. He's been doing a pretty good job. He's been doing a pretty solid job, and that's what we're hoping for more today for Connor Stifler. And I think the big overarching topic for today when it comes to whoever's pitching, whether it be Stifler right now or whoever's going to be due up after Stifler potentially today, it's can you consistently pound the strike zone? Yesterday and even on Friday in that 17-6 victory versus the Dirt Devils, North Platte pitchers struggling to pound the strike zone consistently. I think the best performer of that was most certainly Landon Greeno for the first 4 2/3 innings before it all fell apart in that top of the 5th inning. But can North Platte and the pitching staff today do a better job of consistently pounding the zone against a prolific and very strong offense like Rapid City? As first up here is Daxton Karn for the Expos against one Connor Stifler to lead off this ball game. Of course, game a little bit later due to the late arrival of the Expos is Stifler's first pitch into Daxton Karn is tight inside close to the elbow of Karn for ball number 1. So Stifler starting off with a ball on his first pitch. Then a big swing and a miss on the next one to Karn as Stifler going back with that off speed and Karn way ahead of it. So 1-1 the count now. Hudson Ugle on deck with Bridger Karn in the hole as that ball will skip past the catcher for today's game, Easton Geisler, who's behind home plate. Dean McIntyre getting the day off after going through 3 games this weekend as catcher. 2-1 the count now with Connor Stifler winding up. Popped up, that's drifting towards my press box and will fall flat below me for strike number 2. 2-2 the count now to Daxton Karn as Stifler gets set and fires. Unfortunately, too high on his next pitch. Forces Geisler to fly up from his catcher position to reach for it. It's 3-2 now the count as here comes the payoff pitch from Stifler. Hard hit ground ball to Easton Jones at third. Good little hop on first. Oh no, and it's going to bounce off of one Daxton Karn and into right field. Not a good way to start this game off for Great Plains Health, as that's an error to lead off for the North Platte infield, as Jones threw the ball to first and pulled Greeno off the bag, and the ball actually hit Daxton Karn. So now there's a runner in scoring position at second for Hudson Ugle, the pitcher. As Stifler now will fire his first pitch into the lefty for strike number one. So Karn at second, Ugle up to bat. Daxton Karn's brother, Bridger Karn, on deck, and then Regan Turnquist in the hole as the 0-1. Oh, that's going to bounce off the thigh of Hudson Ugle, and just like that, there's two runners aboard for the Expos of Rapid City. Daxton Karn at second, Bridger Ugle at first, and now it's Bridger Karn who will come up to bat. We do have a courtesy runner making his way on over to first. Reese Palmer, the courtesy runner, as time's going to be called, and we're going to have some conversations for the dugout of the Expos, as actually Reese Palmer is going to go back to the dugout. And checking back in is pitcher Hudson Ugle, who will go back to first base. So no courtesy running for Ugle. So still two runners aboard for Rapid City here in this top of the first inning, as a bunt beautifully going to be laid down by Bridger Karn, but as has been going on all weekend, this turf just not playing any help to any team that's trying to bunt runners aboard. Every attempt I've seen so far this weekend, whether it be from North Platte or an opposing team, has actually not been successful, as because of the turf, it just keeps bouncing like it's on ice and slides foul. So there's first strike of this at-bat to Bridger Karn, as Landon Greeno now on the proverbial infield grass. That one turning to right field. Mike McFadden running to see if he can get there in time, and it falls too far away from his reach, and there's a quick second strike on this at-bat to Bridger Karn. Regan Turnquist on deck with Hunter Larson in the hole for the Expos of Rapid City. As Stifler now gets set on the mound. Glances at second. His 0-2. Check swing is that pitch in the dirt. Ball one away from the zone. Stifler in this defense for North Platte trying to avoid what was a commonality yesterday, which was loading the bases up early on with not many outs. Stifler with his 1-2. Another pitch that just sinks away from Geisler in the zone. Ball two. Looked good on first, but the changeup took a nasty dive at the last second out of the zone. It's 2-2 the count now with nobody out, and two runners aboard at second and first for Rapid City. Tied 0-0 in this top of the first inning. Stifler gets set on the mound and delivers. Hard hit ground ball to Ty Hanneborg. This could be a double play. On to first from Silos, and there's the double play. Good job from the North Platte defense to turn the 6-4-3 double play off of Bridger Karn. So the runner moves to third, but doubling up second and first. So now there's two down in this inning for Regan Turnquist. Daxton Karn a few feet away in scoring position at third, as that off speed now too high in the zone for first ball of this at-bat. Again, Hunter Larson on deck with Rain Kessler in the hole for the Expos. Next pitch from Stifler is fouled back to the parking lot for strike number 1. 1-1 the count. Stifler now with his 1-1 delivers it up. Fastball upstairs, ball 2. So far, even split for Connor Stifler in this top of the first inning. 16 pitches, 8 balls, 8 strikes to lead off for North Platte. As that one smothered out to left field. Back goes Tommy Haggart. He makes the grab. No, he cannot make the grab. It just falls out of his glove in left field, and that's a stand-up double for Regan Turnquist as he'll score the runner at third base. First hit today for Rapid City off of a big double into left field from Turnquist. And here's Hunter Larson. Now with 2 down, another runner in scoring position with Turnquist at second. With 2 down in this top of the first inning. Stifler, a couple glances at second, delivers. Grounder right back to the pitcher. And with that, Connor Stifler throws to first. And this inning will come to an end. Yes, 1 run did come across for Rapid City, but the rest of the way, good plays from the North Platte defense, make it a quick and short inning. And with that, we'll come into the bottom of the first inning, a 1-0 lead for Rapid City when we come back here. FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming at NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back here to Memorial Field on FM 98.1, AM 1410, live streaming, NorthPlattePost.com. Bottom of the first inning, Caden Johnson now up to bat for North Platte to lead this bottom of the first for their first offensive stint against the Expos of Rapid City. Half-inning breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group at his location, 621 South Dewey, Suite B. As well as our other sponsors for today's game, Premier Toyota. Premier Toyota just south of I-80 in North Platte. They invite you to stop out, take a test drive here today. Premier Toyota, let's go places. As first pitch from Hudson Ugle into Caden Johnson there for strike number 1. But the next fastball will miss in the same, well, close to the same area. 1-1 now to the center fielder Johnson with Connor Stifler on deck and Landon Greeno in the hole. Oh boy, that next pitch from Ugle nowhere even close to the strike zone as it bounces maybe 4 feet in front of catcher Jack Coley. As the 2-1 now from Ugle. Light tapper that's going to go on over to Daxton Karn at short. Quick throw to first. And it's in time for first down of this inning as down goes Caden Johnson on a ground out to lead off this bottom of the first inning. Almost beat the throw out, but again, this infield turf here at Memorial Field, almost like an accelerator of the baseball. Maybe at home, the ball may have died a little quicker. It might have allowed Johnson to scamper to first for an infield single, but here, once that ball hits that turf, it starts to really speed up. As next pitch into pitcher Connor Stifler from Oogle is there for strike number one. Stifler trying to turn his fortunes around after a tough 2 games yesterday for him from the batting standpoint. But quickly, it's 0-2 the count from Hudson Oogle into Connor Stifler as his windup, the lefty, delivers. High upstairs on a fastball, ball number 1. Just like yesterday when North Platte faced a lefty in Millard South, they're going to have the same troubles early on in this game as they probably have struggles to see as that's a drop third strike from Jack Cooley, and with that, Connor Stifler will make his way on over to first. Drop third strike from catcher Jack Cooley. That ball was way in the turf, but it gets away from the catcher, and because of that, Stifler gets on to first with the drop third strike, and now he's on the base pad for old reliable Landon Greeno. Seeing if he can keep his relatively hot hitting streak going. Picking up a pair of hits in yesterday's contest against Millard South. A little more quiet in the Millard North game, but that really boiled down to everybody on the North Platte offense being cold. As ball number 1 to Greeno. But the next pitch around the letters in for strike number 1. It's 1-1. Stifler at first. Greeno up to bat. Easton Jones on deck, and Ty Hanneborg in the hole. As the 1-1, there goes Connor Stifler. Great throw on over from Jack Coley, but it falls far away from the shortstop Daxton Karn, who was covering second, and that's a successful stolen base for Connor Stifler. 2-1 count now to Greeno. As Oogle will take his glance at second and deliver. Popped up. That one's going to shallow center field. On comes Bridger Karn with plenty of time to get there, and he will collect the second out of this inning. There's now 2 down for Easton Jones. Yesterday, just like Stifler, not his strongest performance from the hitting standpoint. Did not record a hit in both games versus Millard South and Millard North. Now with the runner in scoring position at second being Connor Stifler, a prime opportunity for a new day. As a great steal from Connor Stifler, he had a huge jump off of second base. And there's the aggressiveness from head coach Ricky Holmes. Connor Stifler will steal all the way to third now. And with that, just a few feet away at third base, waiting to be brought home by either Easton Jones here or maybe even up next, Ty Hanneborg. As with his 2-0 pitch, Oogle delivers. It's now 3 straight pitches from Hudson Oogle that have been almost to the exact same spot on the outside part of the zone. All on off-speed pitches that just haven't found the dip they wanted. But he'll go back to the fastball, and it provides some success right there with a strike. Stifler a few feet away at third base, threatening to score, which would tie the game if Easton Jones can bring him home. And that's ball 4, so Jones won't get that opportunity as Oogle will walk Easton Jones, and he'll take the trot on over to first for Ty Hanneborg. Of course, not wearing his usual jersey today, wearing number 13. Feels like an older callback jersey number for Hannah Borg, or just didn't have his jersey today. That's also a possibility. Runners at the corners now for North Platte as they'll pick off, or attempt to pick off, Easton Jones. But he gets back in time, and now Jack Cooley making some adjustments after the ball gets back to Hunter Ugle. Easton Geisler on deck, and Tommy Haggart then in the hole for Great Plains Health. A 1-0 lead for the Rapid City. As that pitch going to get away from Jack Cooley behind home plate, and Easton Jones will move now to second following the passed up ball. First pitch in ball for Ty Hanneborg. An opportunity to drive some runs home versus Ugle, and another pitch from Hudson Ugle that's nowhere near the zone. Man, I don't know what it is this weekend, but every pitcher that we've seen from every team that North Platte has played, even North Platte included, struggling with the strike zone. But there's a no-doubter strike right there. 2-1 the count. Yeah, I know, Castor Kirsten right there. But it has been a very interesting weekend for pitchers here at this Kearney tournament, as the 2-1 outside for ball number 3. Ugle really trying to work that outside zone, just right on the edge of it being in, but so far has been unsuccessful in hitting it. And there's a big whiff from Ty Hanneborg. Now the count with 2 outs, full 3-2, runners in scoring position at second and third for North Platte. The pitch. Oh, in there, strike 3, and down goes Ty Hanneborg, and that is how this inning comes to an end. Stifler was at third in scoring position, but unfortunately for North Platte, unable to bring the runs home. They still trail by 1 run. 1-0 when we come back here to Memorial Field on FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back here to Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410, currently a 1-0 lead for the side of the Expos of Rapid City. 1-0, 1 run on 1 hit, no errors for Rapid City. No runs, no hits, 1 error for North Platte. Half inning breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortifying Group. His location, 621 South Dewey, Suite B. As well as our other sponsors for today's game. That, of course, goes to Justin Thompson Family Agency with American Family Insurance. With the ever-changing industry standards, they pride themselves on top-notch customer service, no matter what type of insurance you are looking for. Rain Kessler now up to bat for the first time versus Connor Stifler in this inning, as that fastball from Stifler just a hair off the mark for ball number 1. 1-0 lead for Rapid City. Of course, they fell to Hastings yesterday, 9-8. After leading at 1.7-0, they let that game get away from them, and now are, just like North Platte, 1-2 in this trip to Kearney for the tournament. Stifler's next pitch there for strike number 1 following the missed bunt from Kessler as that's hit back up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Got past both Stifler and the outreaching glove of Jacoby Silos for second hit today. For this Expos squad off of Stifler, Sam Schroeder now up to bat. Be interesting to see how aggressive the Expos want to be today from the base paths. We've already seen and know how aggressive North Platte is going to play it. Easton Jones playing the infield grass, expecting a potential bunt from Schroeder. As that's going to get away from Easton Geisler on the pitch from Connor Stifler. And well, there goes that whole talk on base running aggression after it passed up ball will move Ryan Kessler to second base. Now it's Landon Greeno who's playing the grass. Still nobody out, a 1-0 lead for the Expos as the next pitch from Stifler climbing up the ladder for ball 2. 2-0. Runner at second base for Rapid City, leading 1-0. Hard hit from Schroeder that goes all the way to the netting behind the Expos dugout for the first strike. 2-1, nobody out. One runner on in this top of the second inning, the final day of the Kearney tournament in the last regular season game for North Platte. As Stifler's 2-1 pitch is not going to go as calling time is Schroeder. Stifler really keeping his eyes on second base with Ryan Kessler having a relatively long leadoff. 2-1 as Stifler with a couple more glances at second delivers. In there for strike number 2. Late call from the umpire, but it goes in nonetheless. 2-2. Connor Stifler looking for not only the first out of this inning, but also his first strikeout today. Take that deep breath and fire a fastball that's fouled off into the glove of one Easton Geisler.
Now batting number 48, Jack.
For Stifler's first strikeout. And the first out of this top of the second inning for Jack Coley. Cooper Kimball on deck, the back to the top of the order with Daxton Karn for Rapid City. As a couple more glances at second, Stifler will step off. And Ryan Kessler will trot back to second. Still a 1-0 lead on our wicked fast scoreboard for the Expos as first pitch from Stifler, a ball. One 1-0. The windup going out to shallow center field, and it's going to fall just out of the reach of Ty Hanneborg, and that's an infield, well, that's a single from Jack Coley. I mean, it just little out of the reach of Ty Hanneborg as it's made its way into center field. And with that, runners at first and second for Rapid City. Coley at first, Kessler at third. For Cooper Kimball, as courtesy running now, Reese Palmer for Cooley at first base. So just like last inning for the Expos, runners at first and third. As Stifler's first pitch is hard hit to Easton Jones, maybe for a double, throw to first, it's in time! Beautiful play from the North Platte defense. That is a 5-4-3 double play, and North Platte gets out of this inning unscathed. That's now back-to-back innings of great defense. Can North Platte keep it up, but this time find some offensive momentum? You'll, of course, have to find out. We come back here to Memorial Field on FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming at NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back here to Memorial Field. It is the bottom of the second inning. Still a 1-0 lead for the Expos of Rapid City. 1-0, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the Expos. No runs, no hits, 1 error for Great Plains Health, Post 163. Half-inning breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group at his location, 621 South Dewey, Sweet Pea. As well as our other sponsors for today's game, Dr. Chris Kroll and his crew at Kroll Clinic. They specialize in sports injuries, helping you get back in the game faster. Doesn't matter if it is, of course, on the field, court, or diamond. The best part about it? No facility fees. 2-0 from Hudson Ugle. As takes him 3 pitches, but he finally hits the zone on the 3rd pitch. 2-1, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning, can North Platte's offense start finding some momentum, as the last 2 days have been a struggle, and that, of course, including the term of 2 days today as well. Even though it's early on, offense not really getting a good collection of hits in. As a 3-1 to Geisler. Well, there's ball 4, and that's another walk for Hudson Ugle, and now on over to first goes Easton Geisler with the courtesy runner being Jackson Peters. Now taking over for Geisler at first, and we already know what's going to happen when Jackson Peters steps up to the plate as or not even the plate, but up to the first base bag when he's running. Wouldn't be shocked if we see him take off, as Tommy Haggart now, who is playing left field today, is stepping off and throwing to first as Hudson Ugle. Already know Peters might be taking off. Can Tommy Haggart help him a little bit with a hit? Might not even need to, as that next pitch is upstairs, as Ugle struggling with the zone early on. 17 balls already thrown by Hudson Ugle. As another step off will throw Peters, or force Peters back, I should say. 1-0 to Haggart on deck. Mike McFadden with Jacoby Silas in the hole. There goes Jackson Peters. Great jump from Peters, and he'll successfully slide into second with a stolen base. It was inevitable that was going to happen. But with the long windup of Hudson Ugle, if you can get a good jump like North Platte has already had today with Connor Stifler and Jackson Peters, it's quite easy to steal. As now it's a 1-1 count to Tommy Haggart. As the next pitch will fall in the dirt. Now Jackson Peters stealing on over to third, and he'll successfully slide into third with the stolen base. As he was already taken off when that ball hit the dirt. So now a runner in scoring position for North Platte at third base. As Peters is thinking about coming home with a suicide squeeze, and another one that's fouled off. And another unsuccessful bunt attempt for North Platte this weekend. They've yet to successfully lay down a sacrifice bunt to bring a runner home. And, man, I think 12 attempts now it feels like. I haven't kept count, but I feel like we're up to 12. As the 2-2, fastball upstairs. 3-2 the count to Tommy Haggart. As Ugle trying to avoid walking another batter. And he will walk another batter as that fastball is down around the ankles. And now time is going to be called as we're going to have a conversation with one Hunter Ugle. As yet again, he walks a second consecutive batter this inning. As out comes Connor King to have a conversation with his pitcher. So far today, 20 balls for Ugle. And with that, runners at the corners now for Great Plains Health. Jackson Peters at third, Tommy Haggart at first. And with the speed of Jackson Peters, we could be seeing what has been a very successful play for a lot of teams this weekend, the double steal. Runner stealing on over to second, and then if the catcher throws to second, runner at third, then bolts home. We've seen it plenty of times, not just North Platte trying it, but teams that have either played North Platte or are in the game before or after trying it. So really a very well-used tactic this weekend. So a lot of teams nowadays are okay with just letting that runner at first go. And yep, there it is right there. And that is a strike into Mike McFadden, but Tommy Haggart will easily stroll on over to second with a stolen base. So 0-1 the count now to McFadden. As he got a hit in game number one, now lays down a absolutely beautiful bunt. He'll get the sacrifice, but how about Mike McFadden, a guy that doesn't see a lot of playing time, be the lone North Platte player to successfully lay down a bunt here at Memorial Field. And that is exactly what not only North Platte needed, but also head coach Ricky Holm likes to see. As he always talks about, whenever your name gets called, are you ready to step up and take advantage? And Mike McFadden, in these last couple of times he's appeared, has taken good advantage of his opportunities. Successful bunt on the last play, had a hit in the victory against the Dirt Devils. So Mike McFadden getting some good production in with his limited attempts. As first two pitches to Jacoby Silos, who's now up to bat, have been all for balls. Still nobody warming up for the Expos, as this game is now tied 1-1 on our Wicked Fast scoreboard. As Ugle's 2-0. It's now a 3-0 pitch, as all three of his pitches have been upstairs. You can see head coach Connor King starting to get a little impatient in the dugout, as the 3-0 is outside ball 4, and that is another walk for Hudson Ugle. As now we have runners at the corners for Caden Johnson, who grounded out to Daxton Karn at short in his last plate appearance. Lefty Ugle, 24 balls in his so far short stint. One out in this bottom of the second inning, a 1-1 ball game. As Karn delivers. Fastball high upstairs, and yet again, Jacoby Silos will successfully steal second, as smart from catcher Jack Cooley, who will just not throw to second. So runners now at first and second for North Platte. Tying the game last at bat is that one from Jolton. Lightly grounded. The throw on home will apply the tag to Tommy Haggard. As Johnson will get on with the fielder's choice. Didn't get a whole lot of power on that one, but now we once again will have runners at the corners with 2 down following the tag out home to Tommy Haggard. As Ugle made the right choice and threw to Cooley, who had plenty of time to apply the tag to Haggard coming home. But now with runners at the corners, here comes Connor Stifler, who got on to first with a drop third strike, and Ugle will once again attempt to pick off Caden Johnson, but unsuccessful, as Cooley will apply another adjustment to his infield. On the grass, Sam Schroeder at third base. 2 down in this inning, as Ugle with a couple glances at first will now throw the pitch, and unfortunately for the Expos, it's another one that gets away a little bit from Jack Cooley and forces him to try and find it. And now Caden Johnson then successfully makes his way to second. Silos at third. Johnson at second with 2 down and a 1-0 count to Stifler. We make that 2-0. Kind of shocked or won't be shocked here maybe in a couple seconds if Hudson Ugle walks another batter. We see some action in the bullpen for the Expos. But he bounces back beautifully with an off-speed pitch that lays beautifully into the zone. It's 2-1 to the pitcher Stifler, who has 2 runners in scoring position and a tie ball game 1-1 in the bottom of the second inning. Swing and a miss by Stifler. And it's now 2-2. Nice cutting action on that changeup. Got Stifler a little in front of it. 2-2 with 2 outs as Ugle, with a couple glances at second, delivers. Once again in the turf, ball 3. Sometimes Ugle's off speeds look really good, and then other times they just struggle to even get to the plate. So a mixed bag so far for Hudson Ugle. 3-2 now to Connor Stifler as Ugle will step off to readjust and focus back in. Here comes Hudson Ugle's 3-2 pitch once more with 2 outs here in this bottom of the second inning. The delivery. That one reached on, going into shallow right field, but easily there to glove it is Cooper Kimball, and that's how this inning comes to an end. Yes, 1 run did come across, but another 2 were left stranded for North Platte as we now make our way to the top of the third inning. Connor Stifler still pitching when we come back. FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming, NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back to Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410. 1-1. Currently here in the top of the third inning, Connor Stifler still on the mound for North Platte. Half inning breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortifying Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortifying Group. Location 621 South Dewey. Suite B, as well as our other sponsors for today's game, Hands of Heartland. Hands of Heartland has offered support and services for those with developmental disabilities in Nebraska since 1998, and they're bringing those services to the North Platte area. As bringing his services back up to the plate, Daxton Karn. He reached on an error in his first plate appearance against Great Plains Health, post 163. After Easton Jones trying to throw to first to get the first out of that top of the first inning, threw the ball and it bounced off the back of Daxton Karn and into right field, which allowed Karn to get to second. He'd later come around to score that inning as he looks to apply the bunt to lead off this inning, but it's no good as it bounces all the way to Coach Ricky Holm in the dugout. There's strike number one. It's Karn. Hudson Ugle on deck. Bridger Karn in the hole for Rapid City. Tie ball game at 1 apiece here in this top of the third inning. As Stifler delivers. Oh, man. Oh, that off speed. Took a nasty cut at the last second, but fortunately not into the zone. It's 1-1. As the next pitch, fastball, drilled out to center field, but easily coming on to get it is Caden Johnson. And he'll get there and grab out number one for North Platte. On the defensive side of things, Hudson Ugle up to bat. He was hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance against Connor Stifler. Now with nobody on and one out, what can he do with his second at-bat? Looks to apply another bunt, but just like Daxton Karn, fouls it off for strike number one. It's now back-to-back batters that we see Rapid City trying to apply a bunt with the first pitch they see. Trying to keep the North Platte infield on its toes, but which has been so far the story this weekend. The bunt's not successful as that one once again is fouled off by the pitcher Ugle. Just this turf here, so unrelenting when it comes to the trajectory of the baseball. You really have to be precise like Mike McFadden was to score the North Platte's only run. And just like the first inning, Hudson Ugle gets... Was he get tagged? Oh, okay, well, that's... Thought he got tagged. But the ball hit the ground first before hitting Ugle, so there's ball number one. So it's a 1-2 count as Stifler will go into his motion and deliver. Fastball in there, strike three as down goes Hudson Ugle. Around the letters for out number two of this inning. Another strikeout for Connor Stifler with Bridger Karn. He grounded out to Ty Hanneborg in his first plate appearance at shortstop. As another off-speed pitch beautifully into the zone from Stifler. Strike number one. Connor Stifler now starting to get into a good rhythm on his now 38th pitch right here. Well, and of course, yeah, he's right as you say that. Puts one into the turf for the first ball of this at-bat. 1-1 with 2 outs. And Stifler will get the sign and deliver. There's another fastball that unfortunately doesn't end up where he wants it to be. 2-1 with 2 down to Bridger Karn with Regan Turnquist on deck and Hunter Larson in the hole. Big whiff from Bridger Karn as Stifler blows the ball right past him on a fastball. 2-2 with 2 outs. Stifler getting the sign from Geisler, winds up. Hard hit ball, but he'll go foul at third base. First foul ball of this at-bat will stay at 2-2. 2 outs in this top of the third inning. A 1-1 lead for nobody on our Wicked Fast scoreboard as we're all tied up. As Connor Stifler will look to find his second strikeout this inning with the pitch. Off-speed, hard hit to Ty Hanneborg at short again. He winds up to first. It's in time. And that's how this inning comes to an end. A quick 1-2-3, top of the third inning for Great Plains Health. And with that, we go to the bottom of the third, tied 1-1 on our Wicked Fast scoreboard. We can come back to Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming, NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back here to Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410, live streaming, NorthPlattePost.com. Half inning breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McCann and the Fortified Group, serving North Platte and surrounding areas for over 50 years. And so far, North Platte doing a good job. Some of the keys I put together on our Owls Lock and Safe keys to the game, of course, talked about pounding the strike zone. Connor Stifler doing a fantastic job of that. Now can they find some consistent hitting production to help Stifler, who's done a great job with keeping this Rapid City offense at bay? As always, Owls Lock and Safe. Whoop! Oh, and it hits Landon Greeno as I pause right there.
Greeno takes one in the belly.
Takes a little hit off of his shirt, and there's going to walk to first with a hit by pitch, but of course Owls Lock and Safe, serving North Platte surrounding areas for 50 years. Got to get myself woken up. Prove on my performance, because I got to wake up reading the wrong liners. Oh, unbelievable. Here's Easton Jones, walked in his last plate appearance. Landon Greeno at first for North Platte, as Jones trying to find his first hit in the last 2 days. Swings and misses on a pitch upstairs for strike number one. 0-1 the count now, as Hudson Ugle will deliver. Mashed out to right field, but underneath it goes Rain Kessler, and he'll jump up and grab it for out number one. And down goes Easton Jones, continuing his cold streak. As Ty Hanneborg now up to bat, struck out swinging in his last plate appearance against Hudson Ugle. Easton Geisler on deck with Tommy Haggard in the hole for North Platte. Greeno still at first for Great Plains Health, as Ugle's first pitch will bounce off of the dirt for ball number one. The 1-0 now moves to 1-1. Following a good fastball down the middle for strike number one. Greeno at first for North Platte, as Great Plains Health still looking for their first hit officially today. 1-2 the count to Ty Hanneborg, trying to avoid another strikeout. As next pitch, fastball climbing the ladder out of the zone for ball two. 2-2 the count. Greeno not really a steal threat on over at first, barring a passed up ball, though to his credit, he did have a steal against the Daredevils in their first game. Hard hit ball on over to short. Throw to second. Not in time, as unfortunately for Daxton Karn, couldn't get the throw to first, so tried to take a shortcut and throw to second, but Landon Garino with a beautiful slide gets into second before Karn can make the throw. And with that, first official hit today for North Platte, with runners at second and first for Easton Geisler, who walked last time out against Hudson Ogle. His first pitch upstairs for ball number 1. Tommy Haggard on deck. Mike McFadden in the hole. Tie ball game on our Wicked Fast scoreboard in the bottom of the third. 1-1. 1 run on 3 hits and no errors for Rapid City. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error for North Platte. As that's another off-speed pitch from Ogle that falls short of the plate. 2-0 so far in the 58 pitches for Hudson Ogle. 34 of them for balls, 24 for strikes. As the lefties 2-0 pitch in there. Strike number 1 around the knees. Geisler, just like Greeno, really has turned it up these last couple of weeks from a hitting standpoint. Coming into this weekend around 250 batting average. As another off-speed pitch sinks into the zone. So it's 2-2 the count to catcher Easton Geisler. Runners at second and first for North Platte. As Ogle will step off and get readjusted as Landon Greeno get a little shifty on over at second base, threatening potentially a steal. As a 2-2, swing and a miss. And there is strike number 3 as down goes Easton Geisler for second out of this inning for Tommy Haggart. Walked in his first plate appearance, made it all the way to third that inning. Can he get aboard against Ogle to bring up Mike McFadden on deck? And his first pitch to Haggart. Fastball towards the lower half of the zone, but it's in for strike number 1. 0-1 the count now. As dropping the ball. There is pitcher. Oh, that's Hudson Ogle. Got set, dropped the ball, and that's a balk. As now the runners advance 1 base pad. First balk this weekend that I can take count of. 0-1 now to Haggart with runners in scoring position, second and third. He hits one on over to Daxton Karn at short, but a quick throw to first will be in time. And that's how this inning comes to an end. Another 2 left stranded for North Platte's offense when they are in scoring position. We now go to the top of the 4th inning. 1-1 ball game when we come back to Memorial Field on FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back here to, you guessed it, Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410. Currently a tie ball game here for the final day of the Kearney tournament between Great Plains Health Post 163 and Post 22 and the Expos of Rapid City. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for for Rapid City. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error for Great Plains Health. Our Wicked Fast scoreboard. Have you downloaded the My Phillips 66 app yet? If you haven't, you're missing out on so much savings with Wicked Fast. Regan Turnquist up to bat for his second time. He had a loud double over the head of Tommy Haggard in left field. And now he'll be facing Connor Stifler for the second time to see if he can reproduce that hit. Stifler trying to avoid that. Another skied ball out into center field, but Caden Johnson will track it down. And there's the first out of this inning. Another big hit from the side of Turnquist, but this time Caden Johnson with a great adjustment to left to shade a little more to left field. Tracks it down with plenty of time to get out number 1. Here's Hunter Larson, grounded out to Connor Stifler. First time around for Rapid City. Now with 1 out, trying to get aboard as he looks to lay the bunt down, but first pitch from Stifler into the turf for ball number 1. One and 0 now the count. On deck, Rain Kessler with Sam Schroeder in the hole. Stifler's 1-0. Fastball that. Sneaks out. It's 2-0 now the count. With 1 out. Stifler looking for his first strike. Can't find it there as there's another pitch. This time that skirts too high. Ball 3. It's 3-0 the count now with 1 out. As Stifler able to get a bounce back pitch into the zone. 3-1. Now can he make it strike 2 with this pitch here, which would put him in a good position. Next pitch. Oh boy, mashed out to right field. Mike McFadden running on to get it. It's out of his reach, and with that, that's extra bases for Hunter Larson. It's a stand-up double. McFadden just a hair shy of getting there in time. First double today for Hunter Larson, and that's the 4th hit for Rapid City with Rain Kessler up to bat. Singled up the middle in his first plate appearance has Larson. At first is landing. Greeno gets the great grab in foul territory near the bullpen of Rapid City, and there's 2 down in this inning. Now for Sam Schroeder, he struck out swinging in his first appearance at the plate. Has Hunter Larson in scoring position at second in this top of the 4th inning. Can Stifler get out of this inning once again unscathed? His delivery upstairs on a fastball for ball number 1. Jack Cooley on deck with Cooper Kimball in the hole for the Expos. Stifler 49 pitches, 29 strikes, 20 balls. As a pickoff attempt will get Larson back. Still 1-0 count to Schroeder. As Stifler will get the sign from Geisler and wind up. That's below the knees for ball 2. On another fastball, back-to-back fastballs from Stifler that have been unable to connect with the zone. As Stifler's next pitch. 3 straight fastballs that all share the same quality in terms of just not being able to hit their target location. 3-0 the count now with 2 outs. Runner at second being Hunter Larson. But that time, Stifler is able to work one in for strike one. 3-1 the count. With 2 outs, Stifler looking for potentially his 3rd strikeout today if he can get it to that mark. With his 3-1 pitch not coming, as time is going to be called by Schroeder. Stifler playing a little bit of some mind games, holding on that pitch as long as he can. 3-1. As he gets set, now ready to rock and roll. His pitch. In there, around the knees. Strike 2. 3-2 count to Sam Schroeder. Again, struck out swinging in his first appearance. Can Stifler make it back-to-back? Delivers! In there! Strike 3 as down goes Sam Schroeder looking. And that's how this inning comes to an end. 3 strikeouts on the day for Connor Stifler. Of course, our game stats sponsored by State Farm agent Bobby Holst. But a beautiful 3rd strikeout for Stifler, and that's how this inning comes to an end. We're going to the bottom of the 4th when we come back here. FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back here to Memorial Field on FM 98.1 and AM 1410. Tie ball game in the bottom of the 4th. 1-1 the score between Great Plains Health Post 163 and Rapid City and the Expos. 1 run on 4 hits, no errors for Rapid City. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error for North Platte. Mike McFadden up to bat, sacrifice bunted a run home in his last plate appearance. Of course, that tied the ball game up versus Hudson Oogle, who's at 64 pitches right now. Half-inning breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group. His location, 621 South Dewey, Suites B, as that's a light tapper from McFadden back to the catcher, or to the pitcher, Oogle. And just like that, there's 1 down in this ball game, or in this inning. As North Platte trying to find more than just 1 hit. They only had 3 hits against Millard North, and I think 4 against Millard South. So after a strong day 1 where they put up 17 runs with good hit production, last 2 games struggling to recreate that same mark as Oogle's first pitch to Jacoby Silos there for strike number 1. Silos walked in his last plate appearance against Hudson Oogle, who has seemingly found some better control of his pitches. That's strike number 2 against Silos. 34 balls, 33 strikes on 67 total pitches today for Oogle. So now starting to really get some better command of his pitches. This is 0-2. Oh, man, in there, strike 3 as it's in the eyes of Jacoby Silos outside of the zone. Put his hand up as that call was made. And there's 2 down in this bottom of the 4th inning for Caden Johnson. Reached on a fielder's choice in his last plate appearance. Grounded out to Daxton Karn in his first. We'll see a fastball upstairs from Ugle for ball 1. Stifler on deck with Landon Greeno in the hole. As the next one from Ugle. Same result as the first. Outside for ball 1. No action in either bullpen so far, but would expect potentially soon Rapid City to start warming somebody up. 70 total pitches so far for Ugle. As his next one to Johnson in the turf for ball 3. 3-0 with 2 outs. Pitch number 72 on its way. And just like the previous 3 was in the turf, and there's a walk. First today for Caden Johnson. And now he meanders to first for Connor Stifler. And again, wouldn't be shocked sometime at this at-bat seeing Caden Johnson take off and steal second. So far, North Platte has been batting 100 or 1,000 when it comes to their steals today and their success rate. As Ugle steps off and Johnson walks back to first base on a pickoff attempt. On our wicked fast scoreboard, it's a 1-1 ball game between these two teams. Landon Greeno on deck and Easton Jones in the hole. Another pickoff attempt. We get Joni back. As Stifler trying to find his first hit in today's ball game. Would be a big opportunity here as Johnson will fake the steal. But that pitch is in there for strike number 1 from Hudson Ugle. Last game of the regular season for North Platte. Last game of this Kearney tournament for Great Plains Health. As well as another pickoff attempt gets Johnson back. Hudson Ugle well aware of how successful North Platte has been today on the base pads. As Ugle delivers. Little tapper from Connor Stifler that, wow, bounced foul and then went back fair, and that's how this inning comes to an end. Home plate umpire says that it stayed fair. Stifler doesn't agree, but with that, we now go to the top of the 5th inning, still tied 1-1 when we come back here on FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back to Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410. It's time for the top of the 5th inning. Jack Cooley up to bat, singled in his last plate appearance. A 1-1 ball game here between Rapid City and North Platte on FM 98.1, AM 1410. And yes, as always, live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Our wicked fast scoreboard. I'll hold that thought as Cooley gets his second hit today into center field this time and puts a runner aboard for Rapid City.
Now batting number 49, Cooper
As
Kimball.
now taking over Reese Palmer courtesy running for Cooley. Half-inning breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortifying Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortifying Group. His location, 621 South Dewey, Suite B. Cooper Kimball now up to bat, grounded out in his last plate appearance, as he looks to apply a bunt that Easton Jones will easily gobble up and throw to first for out number 1.
Kimball advances the runner.
And just like that, second successful bunt today, but this time will advance the runner to second. And here's Daxton Karn. Flew out to Caden Johnson in his last plate appearance. Reached on an error in his first. Has a runner in scoring position, being Reese Palmer at second base. As Connor Stifler with his 57th pitch fires one into the zone. Strike number 1. 1-1 tie game on our wicked fast scoreboard. 1 run on 5 hits, no errors for the Expos of Rapid City. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error for Great Plains Health. Post 163. Stiflers 0-1. Moves now to 1-1. Following a ball that misses the zone. Hudson Ugle on deck. Bridger Karn in the hole for Rapid City. As the 1-1 bounces off the butt of the bat. Karn trying to check swing the pitch from Stifler, and in doing so, the ball just bounces off the butt of his bat, and that's a foul ball. It's now 1-2 the count to the shortstop. As Stifler will get the sign from Geisler and deliver it off speed in the zone for strike number 3. 4th strikeout today for Connor Stifler. Daxton Karn goes down, and here is Hunter Ugle, the lefty. Struck out swinging in his previous plate appearance. Tried to lay down 2 bunts when he was up to bat last time. Now with a runner in scoring position at second, goes swinging and fouls it to the Expos dugout. And now Easton Geisler will take a trot out to Connor Stifler on the mound and have a conversation with him. Thank you to our sponsors for today's sporting event. River's Edge Golf Club. It's a beautiful day today, so go out, schedule a tee time, and as I say, go out and have some fun at River's Edge. One of the most beautiful courses in the state of Nebraska. And with the day being as nice as it is, it's a perfect time to go out and have some fun on the golf course. So schedule your tee time today and go out and have some fun as a pickoff attempt will not be successful as Reese Palmer gets back. 0-1 to pitcher Hudson Ugle. He was hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance against Connor Stifler and then struck out swinging in his second. Yeah, Stifler will fire in his 62nd pitch, and unfortunately, it gets away from Easton Geisler. And that advances the runner, Reese Palmer, now to third. 1-1 count. Runner in scoring position, Reese Palmer at third with 2 outs in this inning. Stifler winds his motion up and delivers an off-speed pitch that will just stay upstairs. 2-2 the count now. Two and 2-1, as we'll now go to 2-2 following the foul ball from Hudson Ugle. I mean, really had to pull the bat in close to swing it or even get contact with the ball. So Stifler now in a great position to end the inning right here with this next pitch to Ugle. And it looks like it will be, as that's popped into right field. Caden Johnson calling off one Mike McFadden. He gets there to grab the last out of this inning. There was a runner in scoring position for the side of the Expos, but once again, Connor Stifler produces the last out of the inning. And with that, bottom of the 5th, can North Platte finally get the gears turning offensively and take the lead? It's tied 1-1 on our wicked fast scoreboard We come back here to Memorial Field on FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Well, back here to Memorial Field, Landon Greeno will be leading off for Great Plains Health, post 163. Here in this bottom of the fifth inning against Hudson Ugle. A little tapper that'll be gloved up by Ugle, and he tosses the ball on over to first, and just like that, in the blink of an eye, there's the first out of this inning for the North Platte offense.
Now batting your third baseman, number 14.
And now Easton Jones will appear for his third time. Flew out to Rain Kisler in right field, walked in his first at-bat. Half-inning breaks brought to you apart by Kevin McGann and the Fortified Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortified Group here on the one-ways, 621 South Dewey. Sweet beat. 1-0 the count now to Jones, with Ty Hanneborg on deck and Easton Geisler in the hole for North Platte. Only accrued one hit on our wicked-fast scoreboard this entire ball game against Hudson Ugle. Even after Ugle was struggling with his command for a majority of this ball game. Next pitch from Ugle into the zone for strike one. 1-1 on an off-speed. As Jones will get set and deliver. Or will get set and receive the delivery from Ugle. And he swings and misses on an off-speed pitch into the turf. 1-2 to the third baseman with one out in this bottom of the fifth inning. As Ugle will get the sign from Cooley and deliver. Down low, ball 2. 2-2 the count. As next pitch. Oh, popped up. Going out to center field, Bridger Karn running back to get it. Oh, it bounces off of his glove. And now Easton Jones trying to extend it into a double, and he'll get there. Another error for side of the Expos. As Easton Jones will make his way to second on an error from center fielder Bridger Karn.
Jones with the double on the air.
And now a huge opportunity for North Platte to take the lead with a Ty Hanneborg hit. He singled in the infield in his last plate appearance as he went to Daxton Karn at short. Jones now in scoring position at second. So far today, North Platte has struggled to convert with runners in scoring position. It took a Mike McFadden sacrifice bunt to bring North Platte's only run home. Can Hanneborg break this tie with a big hit? It's 0-1 to the shortstop. As Ugle will get set and time will be called. So now we'll go back to our positions. 0-1 the count. Someone is warming up in the bullpen for the Expos. The 0-1 popped up. Going out to right field. Shallow right field. And getting there is second baseman Cooper Kimball. So unfortunately with that pop-up, It doesn't advance Easton Jones, and now there's 2 down in this bottom of the 5th inning for Easton Geisler. Geisler, big opportunity to drive Easton Jones home and break this stalemate. A 1-1 game between these two teams. The first pitch into the catcher is there for ball number 1. A walk and a strikeout for Easton Geisler today. He's 0 for 1. Tommy Haggard on deck with Mike McFadden in the hole. As Ugel's 1-0 pitch. Once again, just like the first, down low, below the knees for ball 2. Nobody warming up in the bullpen for North Platte as they're believing Stifler can keep going. 2-0. Stairs for ball 3. All 3 pitches so far to Easton Geisler have been very far away from reaching their destination in the zone. So it's 3-0. Geisler staring down the barrel of a second walk with him up to bat. 3-0. Upstairs close to the face, ball 4. And with that, Easton Geisler walks for Tommy Haggard, and time will be called as more conversations will be had with the Rapid City coaching staff, as Jackson Peters will now be running for Easton Geisler, which, again, if Ugel can't get out of this inning, we'll see whoever was warming up in the bullpen. I think it's either going to be Maddox Kraft, who was warming up, or Brixton Steen. I think were the 2 potential numbers I saw out there warming up for the Expos. So Peters at first, as well as Easton Jones at second. 2 runners aboard for Tommy Haggard, who's 0 for 1 today. Haggard grounded out to Daxton Karn in his last plate appearance. Walked in his first. Has Jones in scoring position at second and Peters at first, as that off speed from Hudson Ugel nails the zone for strike 1. Ugel at 87 pitches, nearing that 100 mark. As Easton Jones threatening to steal second. I mean, fake took off for second, then put the brakes on and ran back to second, forcing Ugel to attempt to pick him off, and it almost worked in favor of Great Plains Health. That ball was making its way into center field, but not far enough to move Jones any further than where he is at second base. 1-0 is fouled back. Actually, that's Dean McIntyre who's hitting. Pinch hitting for Tommy Haggard. Had a good weekend so far, Dean has. Multiple hits yesterday and multiple against the Dirt Devils on Friday, so really great weekend for Dean McIntyre. Can he drive a run home again? With Easton Jones at second, and stepping off is Hudson Ugel. Dean McIntyre, second on the team in RBIs right now. Again, trailing very long to Easton Jones, who leads the way. As the next pitch from Ugel is outside for ball number 1. Big hit to the outfield would score Easton Jones and break this tie game on our wicked fast scoreboard. 1-1. 2 down, the 2-1. Swing and a miss by Dean McIntyre. And that's how this inning will come to an end after the 2-2 count. And just like that, we go now to the top of the 6th inning. We are still tied up. We come back, FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back to Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410. The lead right now is not in anyone's favor as we're still tied in this top of the 6th inning. Our half-inning breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortifying Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortifying Group at his location, 621 South Dewey, Suite B. Leading off, Bridger Karn for Rapid City. 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts to the shortstop, Ty Hanneborg. As the first pitch into Karn is down low for ball number 1. Also, thank to our Sports Zone sponsors for today's game, Premier Toyota. Premier Toyota, just south of I-80 in North Platte, has a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. So stop out, take a test drive here today to find the perfect car for you, because Premier Toyota, it's the best place to go for all your Toyota needs here in North Platte. Let's go places. 3-0 the count now to Bridger Karn. 3 straight pitches from Stifler that have missed the zone. As due up, Regan Turnquist, Hunter Larson after that. But there's the first strike for Connor Stifler, and that pitch around the knees on an off-speed. 3-1. As his next pitch jammed out to center field, but Caden Johnson didn't have to move far and collects the first out of this inning on a pop-up.
Now batting number 26, Regan.
Here's Regan Turnquist. Doubled in his first appearance to left field. Mashed another one out to the gap in left center that was tracked down by Caden Johnson. So Turnquist with some legit power potentially could result in another hit if Connor Stifler isn't careful. But the first pitch that Stifler fires into Turnquist is there for strike number 1. Hunter Larson on deck with Ryan Kessler in the hole for the Expos. As the 0-1 high upstairs for ball 1. One and one the count, 1 out, nobody on, top of the 6th inning. 1-1 ball game. As Stifler delivers. Hard hit to Ty Hanneborg, but it gets out of his glove as he tried to make a diving grab, and Turnquist gets the single. 6th hit today for Rapid City, and Hunter Larson now checks in. He doubled off Connor Stifler in his last at-bat to right field. And now as a runner at first being Reagan Turnquist, Ryan Kessler on deck and Sam Schroeder in the hole for the Expos. As Stifler's first pitch, beautiful off-speed, cuts at the right time and hits the zone for strike number 1. Stifler at 73 pitches, 45 strikes, 28 balls. And a double play would end the inning here for North Platte as Stifler will get set and deliver. Check swing, but another beautiful strike around the letters this time for strike number 2. As Hunter Larson walks back into the box. 0-2 the count. Stifler likes what he sees and delivers. Fastball hit into center field for a base hit. And that puts another runner aboard for the Expos as they're now starting to heat up offensively in this inning. Turnquist at second, Larson at first for Ryan Kessler. He singled in his first plate appearance up the middle and flew out to land in Greeno in foul territory last time to the plate. Has runners at second and first with 1 out. As Stifler's 75th pitch is upstairs for ball 1 of this at-bat. Sam Schroeder on deck with Jack Coley in the hole. As Stifler's 0-1. Hard hit foul down the third base sign. There's first strike. 0-1 the count now. As so far on our wicked fast scoreboard, we're still tied here in the top of the 6th, 1-1. But the real disparity coming with the hits. 8 hits today for Rapid City, only 1 for North Platte. As a pickoff attempt will get Turnquist back on over to first base. Keep him on his toes. Still 1 out in this top of the 6th. Stifler trying to get out of this inning unscathed. Oh, boy. That next pitch, man, barely just missed the zone. Teetering all right on that left side for ball 2. 2-1 now the count. As Connor Stifler delivers. Mashed out to left field. Running into the gap in left center, and it's going to fall all the way to the wall. That's going to score, I think, at least 2 runs. 1 run comes home. Another will stop at third, so it's an RBI double for Kessler. And that breaks the tie. 9th hit today for Rapid City. They now lead 2-1 on our wicked fast scoreboard in this top of the 6th inning. For Sam Schroeder, who struck out swinging in his first at-bat, struck out looking in his second. Now with the runners at second and third for the Expos of Rapid City, trying to increase the lead that they just took a batter ago. And there's a hard hit ball to Easton Jones. The throw home. Oh no, it gets away from Easton Geisler. And a run comes across for Rapid City. It was set up beautifully for North Platte to get the easy out at home, but unfortunately Geisler drops the ball and another run comes across. It's 3-1 on our wicked fast scoreboard. As time will be called, and we're going to have a courtesy runner, it looks like, for Schroeder. As yes, checking in now for Sam Schroeder, Braden McCauley. Jack Cooley now up to bat. Runners at the corners, still 1 out. It's top of the 6th inning. 2 runs have just come across for the Expos of Rapid City. But North Platte's still not out of trouble just yet. Beautiful fastball, though, from Stifler to bounce back for strike number 1. With the way it's looking like right now, with nobody warming up in the bullpen, I think we're going to keep going with Stifler, and at least a worst-case scenario, we'll see somebody from the infield or outfield check in to pitch. As the 0-1 from Connor Stifler is on its way. Mashed out to center field. Caden Johnson stepping back, grabs it. Now we'll chuck it on home, but it won't make it in time, and that's a sacrifice fly from Jack Cooley, and another run comes across. The lead grows ever more, 4-1. On our wicked fast scoreboard. For Cooper Kimball, who's 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts in today's contest. 1 to Connor Stifler in his last at-bat, and then on over to Ty Hanneborg at short in his first. Braden McCauley at first right now for the Expos. As the first pitch from Connor Stifler lifts out of the zone for ball number 1. One and 0 the count. Now it's 2-0 as the next fastball can't connect either. 3 runs have come across this inning for Rapid City. They now lead 4-1 on our wicked fast scoreboard. There goes McCauley on over to second, and it gets into the outfield as, McCauley making his way on over to third. Easton Jones will apply the tag, and that's how this inning will come to an end. And now Rapid City coach having a conversation with the umpire. But that's how this inning comes to an end. They were going to have a conversation, going to argue the call. Had something to do with it going into the outfield. I think they're talking about runner interference maybe. As a lengthy conversation between the two umpires. As we're still having this conversation. And it will not go the way of the Expos. And with that, we now go to the bottom of the sixth inning. A 4-1 lead on our wicked fast scoreboard when we come back here to Memorial Field on FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back here to the now bottom of the sixth inning, a 4-1 lead for Rapid City and the Expos as North Platte trying to get back into this ball game. 4 runs on 10 hits, 1 error for Rapid City, 1 run on 1 hit for North Platte. Happening breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group, his location, 621 South Dewey. Suite B, as well as our other sponsors for today's game. Justin Thompson, Family Agency with American Family Insurance. With the ever-changing industry standards, they pride themselves on top-notch customer service, no matter what type of insurance you are looking for. So Mike McFadden will lead off in this bottom of the sixth inning. North Platte running out of time to get into this game. And just like yesterday, struggling to produce hits. They've gotten on the base pads plenty of times, but have struggled today to produce any hits as we have a new pitcher on the mound. Reese Palmer for Rapid City going off against Mike McFadden. As Palmer will throw his first strike in the zone for strike number 1, as we do have somebody going to the bullpen to warm up. It looks like Jackson Peters will be the next pitcher for North Platte. As another fastball from Palmer reaches the zone. 1-2 to Mike McFadden. The 8-hole hitter with Jacoby Silos on deck and Caden Johnson in the hole. Popped up. Drifting towards the parking lot, and it will go foul. Stay at 1-2. 1-2 count to right fielder Mike McFadden. Oh, that's going to bounce over the head of McFadden for ball number 2. 2-2 the count. As still getting set now is Reese Palmer, 2-2 with nobody out to McFadden as he drives one into left field. Oh, but just into the reach of Daxton Karn. Unfortunate for Mike McFadden. Got Some good contact in it, but right to the area where Daxton Karn was, and there's out number 1 in this bottom of the 6th. For Jacoby Silos, struck out looking in his last plate appearance. Walked in his first, so far 0 for 1 today. Now seeing Reese Palmer for the first time as Palmer lasers one into the zone for strike 1. He now gets set, the righty does, for his second pitch. Fouled to the net. From Jacoby Silos, strike number 2. 0-2 with 1 out. 4-1 lead for Rapid City in this bottom of the 6th inning. North Platte running out of time to get things going offensively as Silos swings and misses for strike number 3 in the second out of this ball game. As the senior Caden Johnson now will check in for what would probably be the final time today, barring some miracle from North Platte offensively. He's 0 for 2, grounded out to Daxton Karn in his first appearance, reached on a fielder's choice in his second, then walked in his third, and with an 2 outs in this inning, we'll see the first pitch from Reese Palmer down low for ball 1. That's the 1-0 pitch. In there for strike number 1. 1-1 to Johnson. Connor Stifler on deck with Landon Greeno in the hole. He drives one out to center field. Back at it goes one Bridger Karn, and he gets underneath it. A quick 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the 6th inning. We now go to the top of the 7th. Can North Platte go another quick 1, 2, 3 on their end, with Jackson Peters now looking to be taking over on the mound? And can they find a way then in the bottom of the 7th to get working? You'll have to find out when we come back here to Memorial Field on FM 98.1 and AM 1410. It's the top of the 7th inning here at Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Jackson Peters now taking over for Connor Stifler on the mound. Stifler will end today's day 82 pitches, 51 strikes, 31 balls. Probably the best performance North Platte pitcher has put up this weekend statistically. Though did give up 3 runs last inning. Can Jackson Peters keep this a quick inning for North Platte's defense so they can get an opportunity in the bottom of the 7th to come back into this game? Half inning breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group. His location, 621 South Dewey, Sweet Pea. So Peters takes over on the mound. Dean McIntyre now in left field. And I think Stifler will now be in right, if I'm looking correctly in the outfield. But before we even get to that assumption, Daxton Karn is the first pitcher that Jackson Peters will be facing in this top of the 7th inning. On our wicked fast scoreboard, a 4-1 lead. 4 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Expos of Rapid City. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error for North Platte. Karn, on our game stats, 0 for 3 today. So he looks to lay a bunt down, and he does so successfully. And with that, Daxton Karn will lead off this top of the 7th with an infield bunt to lead off this inning.
Now batting number 31, Hudson.
Finally successful with a bunt today is Daxton Karn. Tried a couple of times in this ball game. As Hudson Ogle, who's 0 for 3 now up to bat against Jackson Peters, is throw on over to first will get Daxton Karn back, but the pitch from Peters upstairs to Ogle. Ball number 1. Connor Stifler confirmed out in right field now for North Platte's defense. Jackson Peters on the mound trying to get out of this ball game as his next pitch is way upstairs for ball number 2. 2-0 the count from Peters to Hudson Ogle. As Peters gets the sign from Geisler, and next pitch, same as the first 3, or first 2, correction. Now it's ball 3 here for Jackson Peters against Hudson Ogle. Runner at first being Daxton Karn for Rapid City, leading 4-1 on our wicked fast scoreboard. As that's a walk, it looks like, and it will be confirmed a walk as Ogle. Oh, actually, correction. No, they're going to call a balk on Jackson Peters. So Peters gets dinged for the balk, and because of that, Karn will advance to second base now. Still a 3-0 count. With a runner in scoring position, and there is another walk as Ogle will move his way to first. So runners at first and second for Rapid City, Karn and Ogle. Karn at second, Ogle at first for Bridger Karn, who's 0 for 3 today. 2 ground outs to Ty Hanneborg at short, and then a fly out to Caden Johnson in center field as Jackson Peters taking some time to look at the reference sheet. Now we'll get set and step onto the mound. Runner in scoring position at second being Daxton Karn for Rapid City. As Landon Greeno playing the infield grass, potentially expecting a bunt. As there was that bunt attempt, but the pitch from Peters in the turf for ball number 1. 1-0. 2 runners aboard for Rapid City. This top, the 7th inning. As for Jackson Peters, 5 straight pitches have been out of the zone for balls, trying to settle in here. Find his first strike against Bridger Karn. As the pitch. Just a bit above the lettering for ball 2. 2-0 the count now.
Come on, find it there, Pete.
4-1 the lead for side of Rapid City. 11 hits so far today. 2 runners aboard. Next pitch. Smashed out to left field. Dean McIntyre running out to get it, and it goes all the way to the wall. Not just one, but looks like 2 runs are going to come home for Rapid City. Oh, they're going to wave another one home. The throw from Ty Hanneborg is no good. And Bridger Karn with the stand-up double clears the bases out. And now the lead is 6-1 on our wicked fast scoreboard with Regan Turnquist up to bat. Singled into center field in his last appearance as time will be called. And we'll have a conversation with pitcher Jackson Peters. Turnquist at bat, Hunter Larson on deck, and Ryan Kessler in the hole. As Peters having a conversation with the coaching staff. As adjustments are being made all around, and Peters now having a expressive conversation. And now out comes the home plate umpire now to the mound. Mike McFadden looks like he'll be warming up in the bullpen for North Platte. Still a very lengthy conversation now going on between North Platte coach and the home plate umpire. As now the conversation will wrap up, and Jackson Peters will step back onto the mound again. Mike McFadden now in the bullpen for Great Plains Health Post 163. Getting ready to get some pitches in. Jackson Peters still on the mound against Regan Turnquist, who's again 2 for 3 today. Runner in scoring position at second being Bridger Karn, as that's fouled off by Turnquist for strike number 1. Oh and 1. Nobody out in this top of the 7th inning. A runner scoring position at second. As that fastball from Jackson Peters into the turf for ball number 1. It's 1 and 1. The count to Regan Turnquist. Oh, man, that just barely skirts away. There's ball 2. Two and 1. Nobody out. Next pitch. Fouled to the grandstands. Strike 2.
Compliments of your local Cooligan water.
2 and 2. Nobody out. 6-1 lead. Runner in scoring position. Bridger Karn at second base. As Jackson Peters trying to find the first out of this inning versus Regan Turnquist. Lofts one's out to right. Connor Stifler gets under it. Grabs it. Strong throw on over to second with some power, but Bridger Karn gets to second following the pop-up from Turnquist. And there's out number 1 of this inning for the North Platte defense. As Hunter Larson, who's 2 for 3 today, with a double and a single up to bat. Following Larson, Ryan Kessler. Peters' first pitch. It's going to bounce into the dirt for ball number 1. 1-0. One out. Peters, 23 pitches so far. Make that 24 as the next one rattles into the turf. Ball 2. Two and 0, 1 out still. Following Larson, again Kessler and Sam Schroeder, who are due up. Next pitch, 2-0. In there for strike number 1. Good pounce back pitch from Jackson Peters. As Peters now gets the okay that he likes from Geisler delivers another one. That's pulled out of the zone for ball 3. 3-1 the count to the young Jackson Peters, as Geisler will look to the sideline and get the call from Coach Holm. Peters, 3-1 pitch. It's upstairs, ball 4, and on over to first goes Hunter Larson. So runners at the corners now for Ryan Kessler. Kessler 2 for 3, a single in his first at-bat. Flew out to Landon Greeno in foul territory in his second, and then doubled in the gap in left center field in his third. As there's runners at the corner, Bridger Karn at third, Hunter Larson at first for Rapid City. This top of the 7th. Lifted out to center field. Caden Johnson coming on to grab it. Tagging up. The throw on home will not get anywhere close, and that's a sacrifice fly out to bring another run home. It's now 7-1 on our Wicked Fast scoreboard as Kessler now popping out. Sam Schroeder, the batter that will be appearing now for Rapid City. He's 1 for 3, single in his last at-bat, but has struck out twice today. As the runner will go on over to second, Geisler's throw will not get there in time, and Hunter Larson successfully steals second base. As it's an 0-1 count to Schroeder. Seven runs on 12 hits. One error on our Wicked Fast scoreboard for Rapid City. Another pitch from Peters upstairs. Ball 1. Again, thank you to our scoreboard sponsor today, Wicked Fast. If you downloaded the My Phillips 66 app yet, if not, you're missing out on so much savings with Wicked Fast. Located across from the Do It Center in North Platte. You can download that My Phillips 66 app today to save a whole bunch of money when you go and use the pump at Wicked Fast. 2-1, 2 outs. Sam Schroeder at bat. Jack Cooley on deck with Cooper Kimball in the hole for the Expos. Peters 2-1. Down low for ball 3. 3-1 the count now. Wouldn't be shocked if we potentially see the end of Jackson Peters if he walks Schroeder right here with Mike McFadden getting done warming up in the bullpen. Peters is 3-1. Upstairs, ball 4. Out comes head coach Holm, and also out comes Mike McFadden, and that'll end the day for Jackson Peters on the mound in his brief stint here in the top of the 7th. Again, he took over for Connor Stifler this inning. It's now 7-1 on our Wicked Fast scoreboard. As McFadden now getting his warm-up pitches in. He'll be facing off against catcher Jack Cooley, who sacrificed flew out in his last at-bat for Rapid City. Singled in his first 2 up the middle. As McFadden, now the senior, getting his pitches in. After Cooley, Cooper Kimball, then Daxton Karn for side of Rapid City. Again, as always, our half-inning breaks are brought to you in part by Kevin McGann of the Fortify Group. You can check out Kevin McGann of the Fortify Group. His location, 621 South Dewey, Suite B, which is on the one-ways. Also, thank you to our other sponsors for today's game, Dr. Chris Kroll and his crew at Kroll Clinic. Whether you're injured on the court or diamond, Dr. Chris Kroll and his crew have you covered. And the best part about it, they also have no facility fees to go along with your recovery process. On our Wicked Fast scoreboard, 7-1, 7 runs, 12 hits, 1 error for North Platte's, or excuse me, for Rapid City's offense. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error for North Platte's offense, getting the last regular season game of the season before we go on to, you guessed it, next week, districts. And so far it's shaping up to be North Platte potentially being the last seed in districts, which means they will potentially, again, all these are just potentials. We'll get to know more on Monday when they turn in all of their records on Monday. We could be seeing North Platte be facing off against Hastings for game number 1 of that district matchup, which will be at 7 o'clock at Bill Wood Field. Mike McFadden now taking over for Jackson Peters on the mound, as Peters couldn't make it out of this inning. Facing off against Jack Cooley. Again, Cooley so far today, 2 singles up the middle in his first 2 plate appearances, and then sacrifice flew out in his last. As next pitch from McFadden, in there for strike number 1. One and 1, 2 outs. Runners at second and first. Larson at second, Schroeder at first for Rapid City in the top of the 7th inning. McFadden gets set and delivers. Off speed upstairs for ball 2. 2-1. Cooper Kimball on deck, the back to the top of the order with Daxton Karn. Still 2 outs here in this top of the 7th. 7-1 lead on our Wicked Fast scoreboard. Final day of the Kearney tournament. As McFadden winds up. Light tapper on over to Jacoby Silos, who throws it to first. And that's how this inning comes to an end. Not before 2 more runs came across. Currently a 7-1 lead when 3 runs come across. Now a 7-1 lead. We come back bottom of the 7th inning. Can North Platte finally break open the treasure chest of offense and win this game in a walk-off? You'll have to find out when we come back here on FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming at NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back to the final potential inning here from Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410, live streaming, NorthPlattePost.com. As up to bat, Connor Stifler facing off against Reese Palmer for the 2nd inning of work for Palmer. Stifler so far today 0 for 3. As Reese Palmer will give some fist bumps. Happening breaks brought to you in part by Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group. Check out Kevin McGann and the Fortify Group at his location, 621 South Dewey, Suite B. Those are other sponsors for today's game. Hands of Heartland. Hands of Heartland has offered sport and services for those with developmental disabilities in Nebraska since 1998, and bringing those services to the North Platte area. As Palmer's first pitch Connor Stifler there for strike number 1. Landon Greeno on deck with Easton Jones in the hole. This bottom of the 7th inning on our Wicked Fast scoreboard, a 7-1 lead for Rapid City. A quick comebacker to Palmer, and he gloves it up. And there's out number 1. Good reaction time from Reese Palmer to grab that quick comeback grounder. And there's one down in this bottom of the 7th for Landon Greeno. 0 for 2 today. He was hit by a pitch, though, so he has gotten onto the base pad. Flew out to Bridger Karn in his first appearance, then grounded out to Reese Palmer in his second. First pitch to Greeno. Outside for ball number 1 on a fastball. As next pitch. Right in the zone. At the knees. Strike number 1. One and one with one out. Another fastball that's upstairs and outside for ball number 2, 2-1. As Palmer gets the sign in from Jack Cooley and delivers. Well, that's skied out. Going to left field. Underneath it gets Hunter Larson. Doesn't lose it in the sun and gets there for out number 2. Quick 2 up, 2 down for North Platte's offense here in the final inning of play for the regular season. Easton Jones, last batter, potentially up. Can he get a hit? Keep this inning alive and at least start moving some confidence towards the North Platte side before the end of this game. Unfortunately, that pitch is in the zone for strike number 1. 0-1. Ooh, boy, that fastball from Reese Palmer nowhere near the zone. 1-1 the count. That's with 2 down. Palmer's pitch to Easton Jones, who's 0 for 2 today, is clobbered out to left field. Going back to the fence. It's out of here! Easton Jones with his second home run of the season. Launches one over the left field wall, and it's now 7-2 on our Wicked Fast scoreboard, and at least North Platte can finally have something to smile about as Easton Jones collects his second home run this year and rockets one off of Reese Palmer. Solo shot for Easton Jones, breaking his slump of being hitless ever since Friday. And now Ty Hanneborg up to bat. 7-2 on our Wicked Fast scoreboard. Second hit today for North Platte. The first pitch into Hanneborg is down low for ball number 1 from Reese Palmer. Geisler on deck with McIntyre in the hole. As another fastball will just miss outside for Palmer. Two 2-0, 2 down here in this bottom of the 7th inning. And there's the first strike of this at-bat to Hanneborg. 2-1, 2 outs. 7-2 lead for Rapid City here in the bottom of the 7th. Palmer's next pitch. Boy, misses again. Just like the first 2 pitches. Couldn't connect into the zone. 3-1, about to sneeze as well. Not a good combination. As Reese Palmer with his 25th pitch loads up. And it almost hits Ty Hanneborg, but doesn't matter either which way, as Hanneborg will walk on over to first for Easton Geisler. Now up to bat. So far today for Geisler, 2 walks and a strikeout. has Hannibal at first. Can Geisler collect his first hit today and keep this inning alive? There goes Hannibal on a steal, and there's no contest from Jack Cooley. And not only is it ball number 1, but now a runner in scoring position at second for North Platte with Ty Hannibal. At second base, Reese Palmer's pitch now to Easton Geisler in the zone. There's the first strike of the at-bat. Now 1-1. On deck, Dean McIntyre with Mike McFadden in the hole. Ooh, that fastball close to the shoulder of Geisler. 2-1. And the next pitch hits Easton Geisler, so it was close pitch prior, and unfortunately for Reese Palmer, converts this time to
Now batting number 12.
hitting Easton Geisler. And now Dean McIntyre up to bat. Has 2 runners aboard with 2 outs. Hannibal gets at second. Geisler at first for North Platte. As Reese Palmer will fire his first pitch in. Chest high in there for strike number 1. Oh, 1, 2 outs. 2 runners aboard for Great Plains Health. Post 163 in this bottom of the 7th. The next pitch, though, to McIntyre. Not near. Ball 1. One and 1, 2 outs. North Platte getting a run this inning after a solo home run from Easton Jones. That stays fair, and they're waving on home Ty Hannibal, and that's going to be another run coming across for Great Plains Health after an RBI single from Dean McIntyre. Keeping that ball fair down the third base side. As Cade Songster now courtesy running for Easton Geisler. So McIntyre at first. Songster at second. For Mike McFadden. 2 outs. Sacrifice bunted a run home in his first plate appearance. Grounded out to the pitcher in the second at-bat. Then flew out to Daxton Kern in his last. And we'll see first pitch in for strike number 1 to Mike McFadden. Jacoby Silos on deck with Caden Johnson in the hole for North Platte's offense. As the 0-1 fouled off by McFadden. Now it's 0-2. And here could potentially be the last strike for North Platte today. Can Mike McFadden come up clutch once again with a hit? As here comes the 0-2 pitch from Reese Palmer to Mike McFadden. Oh, man, it's in there for strike number 3. And unfortunately, that is how this game will come to an end. For Great Plains Health, post 163. A little bit of a late surge to put 2 runs across in the bottom of the 7th inning, but unfortunately, they fall here to Rapid City 7-3 on our wicked fast scoreboard and fall to 1-3 over the weekend during this Kearney tournament. And honestly, in every single game, they had a chance to come away with a win, but just unfortunately were unable to answer a lot of the scores that came across from the opposing team. Of course, had leads against Millard South, Millard North. Tied it up here versus Rapid City in the bottom of the first inning, but then unfortunately just had the bats go cold once again, and just like that are 1-3 to end the Kearney tournament. Again, a complete opposite of last year where they went undefeated. In that game, or in those games last year, but fortunately for North Platte, 1-3, and now go into the district tournament next Friday on a 3-game losing streak. And it's not how I was, and not I, but how coach and probably everybody on the team wanted to end this tournament, at least wanted to come away with one win, whether it be yesterday or today, to at least put some momentum going in their direction with the tournament starting next week, because you at least would love to see, some sort of, as I said, winning streak or something to hang your hat on going into those potential 3 games, because, again, you need 3 games to guarantee your spot, in going into state. And with things how they're going right now, North Platte will be potentially the last seed and will face, reportedly, Hastings, who they'll be playing on next Friday. And if they beat Hastings, then they might be facing off against either Grand Island or Scotts Bluff. And then if they win that game, then they're into the winner goes to state game, just like they were last year, and potentially could be in that same exact spot where they just need to get through those 3 games. But unfortunately for North Platte, they'll end the regular season and, more importantly, this Kearney tournament on a 3-game losing streak. We'll step aside and we'll take a break. We come back. It is going to be our quick stop post-game show right here on FM 98.1, AM 1410, and live streaming at NorthPlattePost.com. Welcome back here to Memorial Field on FM 98.1 AM 1410. This is the end of how today's games unfortunately going to go for the side of Great Plains Health Post 163 as they fall in this last game of the Kearney tournament to the side of, oh, I got my whole microphone all messed up here between, of course, the Rapid City Expos. It was, if you don't look at the last two innings, legitimately it was actually a pretty close game, and that was thanks to Connor Stifler, who did a fantastic job of really keeping this game close, as unlike really any other pitcher today this weekend besides Landon Greeno did a fantastic job of not only pounding the strike zone but getting easy outs for his defense, but afterwards it just kind of fell apart in that top of the 7th and 6th inning when, fortunately, 3 runs came across in both of those innings, and that's how we got to this mark right here with a 7-3 victory for the side of the Expos of Rapid City. 7 runs on 11 hits, 1 error for Rapid City. They left 7 men left stranding compared to the 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error for North Platte. And this is the most frustrating stat, and this stat will probably also be the highlight for Coach Holm when he comes up here to have his conversation with me. 11 men left stranded on the base pads. That's going to be the kicker here today. 11 men were left stranded on the base pads for North Platte. And unfortunately, in the grand scheme of things, if any more of those 11 men were able to come home, would have been a fantastic day today. But they, just like yesterday, North Platte just unfortunately just couldn't have the bats wake up at the right time. They kind of came alive at the end of that game to at least make it interesting, but you can't really, be bailed out in the last inning all the time. You need to, as Coach will probably say when he comes up here, be consistent with the offense, the hitting, the fundamentals throughout the entirety of the game because, if you can't, you're then just going to leave, as we said, opportunities, too many opportunities open for the other teams to make plays. And unfortunately, the other team was making more plays than North Platte today, and that's how we got to this 7-3 victory for the side of Rapid City and the Expos. Step aside again. We come back on our Quick Stop post-game show. Head coach Ricky Holmes should be joining us here shortly to talk all things for the weekend and get us all prepped for next week's district games right here on FM 98.1 AM 1410 live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. Quick stop post-game show here from Memorial Field, FM 98.1, AM 1410, live streaming NorthPlattePost.com. A loss here for Great Plains South, Post 163, as they fall to, of course, fall to Rapid City, 7-2 on our, of course, wicked fast scoreboard. So 7-3. A bunch of missed opportunities. I think that's the synopsis for this weekend, is missed opportunity, unfortunately, after missed opportunity. And it's not of the belief of, we played one good inning and we could have come back in that inning if we played just a bit better. To be honest with you, there were 3 games this entire weekend that you thought, hey, this is the chance that this team could really, take a good step forward and kind of, like they did last year at this tournament, come out and say, hey, we're a team that you can't be messing with going into districts. And they were so close in all 3 of these games to really going over that hump and really taking, I think, the next step forward in terms of their season progression. Started off with a commanding lead, 3-1 over Millard South on Friday in the first game of their doubleheader. Brought it all the way up until the bottom of the 6th and bottom of the 7th when they led the game-tying and game-winning run home. And then against Millard North, same thing, looking very good for around 5 innings where they were in firm control of that lead before it all went stumbling apart in the top of the 5th inning. And then the same thing here. They were tied with Rapid City 1-1 for majority of that game until, just like against Millard North, top of the 6th inning instead of top of the 5th this time. Top of the 6th, it all just started to fall apart for Great Plains South. And in the grand scheme of things and grand total of things, they unfortunately do fall in this game 7-3 and go 1-3 here in the Kearney tournament. And now we'll be moving on to districts next Friday. That game going to be at 7 o'clock. Of course, won't know really who they'll be facing until the start of next week, because I'm joined by head coach Ricky Holm. Coach, I talked about how this week end had gone for you, and I kind of described it as a weekend of missed opportunities, as, to be honest, even though you came up with 3 losses in the last 3 games, each one of those games were in pretty much firm control by you guys for a huge chunk of those games until it all just fell apart at one little section. You kind of agree with that take, that this weekend was almost going to be like last year? We're going to, in certain aspects, could have gone 4-0?
Yeah, definitely started off the tournament good. Friday night versus Colorado, was able to string some hits together through the lineup 1 through 9. That's usually when we're clicking, is when we have timely hits through the lineup and not just a couple of guys. We're able to run the bases really well. And then first game yesterday versus Millard South, thought we competed really well. We're up most of the game, and kind of ran out of juice there towards the end. And I think that kind of bled into the game versus Millard North. I don't know if it's feeling sorry for ourselves or just out of energy, or just thought we were going to win it and just kind of down on ourselves. And would have liked to think that didn't carry over today, but other than Stifler throwing really well and us putting some hits together there in the last inning, it was just kind of going through the motions. Not a lot of competitive at-bats. I think we had 9 or 10 stolen bases in the first 6 innings, and to only get 1 run out of it really speaks to how we just struggled with the bat. So definitely got a lot of work this week before Friday. We've locked up the 6th seed, so we know that we'll be playing Hastings on Friday. So they're a team this year, they're 25-7. They know how to finish games. They know how to win games. And that's been something that we've struggled with this year. So as much as I think, that if we play our game and we could compete versus anybody, but also understanding that, we're out of time of, hey, if we do this then, or in this many days we got this, we're kind of, we're up against it now, and, our season could be over here on Saturday. So just kind of relaying to the guys that obviously not ready for our season to be over so soon, especially with this senior class. I mean, they've been here as long as I've been here. They were all 8th graders, all on juniors, except for Easton Jones, Caden Jonason, who swung up for state. So, I mean, been with me for half a decade, and just kind of letting them really understanding that this is the culmination of all the hard work and effort and the late nights and the tears and the blood and everything that we've kind of put into this program here together, that this is the culmination of that. So understanding that, they got to take it upon themselves, and also us as coaches and leaders of, one, making sure that we're doing what we can to help team best succeed, but then also being good teammates and good coaches and kind of pushing those young guys to help us out as well.
Yep, of course, the stat you probably hate to hear the most in terms of those bases stolen, 11 men left stranded on the base pad, and that's just not a culmination of what happened today. That's going to also rack up in yesterday where the same thing happened. Is you guys are getting, and it's so crazy because you're getting to the point where you're getting guys on the base pads and putting them in really good positions. You just can't seem to put like that final little nail or stamp on an inning to finally break the floodgates open. And it's tough to circle an answer and be like, well, coach, how do you put that stamp on there? But in your eyes, in your estimation, what does this team need to do to follow through in the innings where they do get good process, get people on the base pads and put them in scoring position, but just unfortunately can't put that little final step towards bringing them home?
Yeah, I know one thing that we really take pride on is execution with like our suicide squeezes, and until Mike McFadden got one down today, we were 0 for our last 8. Now we touched the ball every time, so we didn't leave the runner hanging, but literally 0 for our last 8 with foul ball bunts. So that'll be something that we try to touch on. It's one of those things where, I don't want to be as aggressive as we are. But I feel like if we're not, we're going to struggle to score runs. So it's kind of one of those catch-22s where it's like, do I gamble it and, try to steal a guy here so we can get him into scoring position, but then also run the risk of maybe him getting thrown out. So it's one of those tough things as a coach that you're kind of going on the fly with and kind of reading just the vibe of the game and the pace of the game and how it's going. But just got to get back to the little things. We're going to touch up our bunt Ds, our first and thirds, suicide squeezes, just picks a second. We'll probably implement 1 or 2 kind of, trick plays or back pick plays or something that we either haven't shown or we'll have different hot calls for. But it's just going to be kind of touching up on those little things, because when you get in those big games versus the good teams, it's going to be those 4 or 5 little plays that's going to dictate whether you're on the right end of it or not. So guys know that we got work to do, but they also know, I think they're excited for the opportunity, understanding that, we've left so much on the table. It's been a frustrating year as far as either not starting off right or starting off right and then not finishing right, or vice versa, and how this record, could have been completely different. But it gets to a point where you also have to understand that teams with bad records don't get lucky. And that if you are wanting to have a good record and a winning record, that you kind of got to take that upon yourself and make your own luck. So going to get back to the drawing board this week, and just really sharpen on the things that we need to work on, and kind of just go out there and compete and give ourselves the best chance.
And continuing on with those squeezes, that was something we talked a couple of weeks ago about something you're working on. How much is it of this field? Because this field is almost like an ice rink when the ball touches the turf compared to North Platte. Because in many instances, it looked like it was going to be a pretty well executed squeeze, but just the way turf operates, almost like when the ball hits it, it's on its own different course of path, as you said, up until the Mike McFadden, but 0 for 8. So how much is it really the turf here as compared to actually good execution?
Very minimal on the turf. I think a lot of them, they were never fair. They just never even had a chance. So even with some Billwood grass to stop it, maybe one of them maybe would have been different. It's been more so that I think our hitters have really focused on keeping it away from the pitcher, almost to the extreme that our angles are too exaggerated, and when we're catching it, instead of it catching and going where we want to, we've almost overcompensated on that angle and they're going foul. So it'll be a yearly tradition. I'll start hitting up the Carson Johnsons and Wilco's and Bryce Butterfields and any of those ex-players that I've had since I've been here. They'll come out and throw to us this week and kind of dial us in, and we'll work all those game situations and stuff against them. And always thankful for those guys that, have been through the program since I've been here and willing to come back and help out. It's a cool little thing that we have where now we're in this nice cycle where all these guys, all they know is returning guys coming back and helping out. So I'll be on the horn with all those guys on the way home here and setting up a date for that. But yeah, I don't want to blame it too much on the turf. I think it's more so probably just us being smart and not wanting to get it back to the pitcher, but probably have to dial our angles back a little bit more.
And, of course, that ends the regular season, meaning districts start next week, as you said, locked up the sixth seed, so you'll be facing off against Hastings, a team that you've already seen this season and played pretty competitively, and you can basically say that with a lot of the teams you've seen this season. And you guys really do seem to take a nice step in the right direction when districts come about. Don't know how you guys always seem to do it. Of course, it's the do-or-die situation. That probably helps. But, trying to shape it like last year and hypothetically speaking, if you had an imaginary bracket in front of you, the path, this year might be a smidge easier than it was last year, having to go through, Kearney, Grand Island, and then Hastings as well. Hastings, potentially Scotts Bluff, and then that winner-take-all type of game. What are, as you said, some of the other things that are going to keep you guys motivated this week outside of those two? Because there is a clear path for what you guys need to do. How are you going to execute to make sure that is the path that you guys can succeed upon?
Yeah, with Grand Island hosting state this year and us getting that third team in, I just don't want to leave anything up for chance, especially going in as a sixth seed. If there's going to be any tiebreakers, we're not going to win them. And we kind of learned that a couple years ago where, we use our 1 and 2 versus GI and beat them 1-0 in 13 innings. We both go 2 and 2, but because they were the higher seed going in, they got to go to state. So understanding that if any situation like that are to occur this year, we're going to get bounced because we're not going to hold the tiebreaker versus anybody. So, and not taking anything away from Scotts Bluff or GIB, it looks like it'll be Kearney GIB first round. So if we were to win, hypothetically, we would play the loser of that. But in the end, it may start off as an easier road than it did last year, but I'm pretty sure that no matter what, if we're going to want to clinch a state spot, we're probably going to have to beat Kearney, Hastings, and GI at least all once. Simplest math for me is you go 3-0 and you're in. So we're going to try to go 1-0 3 different times. It doesn't really matter the opponent that we're playing because all these teams have played us close, beat us, we've beat them. It's more so about what GPH team is going to show up. So that'll be on us as a coaching staff to make sure that we really hone it in and get us dialed in and focused for the tasks ahead.
Yep. Before I let you go, Coach, one other observation I made. A very interesting roller coaster couple of games for the pitching staff. In the sense of they were good, and then they also had their struggles. It really went against your current mold of trying to pound the strike zone. That was really an issue on Friday, even though you came away with a strong victory Friday early in the Saturday game, and then, of course, it all came apart in the later innings on the Saturdays, and then here on Sunday when Jackson Peters came aboard. So it felt like the strike zone was not something you guys were hitting, but still put up very strong performances. So what is your takeaway from the pitching staff and how they played this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, each game was a little bit different. I think Joni's biggest issue with game one was between his last pitch in the bullpen and his first pitch in the game was probably 30 or 40 minutes just because of how long that first inning was. And I think that was kind of just got him out of his rhythm. And by the time he started dialing it back in, it was time to pull him out. Easton Jones, I think it was one of those things, and never want to be negative towards an umpire, but understanding that we've had that umpire quite a bit, and he's very consistent, so you know what it's going to be, but also that it's kind of a shoebox strike zone. And, between him and the guy from Millard South, both of them are strike throwers. I think that was more just kind of predicated on the umpiring and kind of the strike zone for that game. And then today, Stiff threw a heck of a game. That's his fourth outing in a row. I mean, just by performance-wise, he's probably our number 3 the last month. I mean, he's beat half of our district in the last couple weeks and then pitched well enough here today to go out and get the dub. So overall, pitching-wise, I wasn't ecstatic with it, but I think our biggest detriment this weekend was our hitting. So, something good to build off of. I think Jones looks like he's finally starting to get his legs underneath him on the mound. I think yesterday he was easily the firmest he's been all year. And he's a tough guy to get a read on because he's into this big, reverse psychology kick, which drives me nuts. But he'll be like, oh, hey, how you feeling? Oh, not good. And I was like, well, I mean, you're looking pretty good, dude. And I don't know if it's just, I don't know if it's because he wants an ego stroke or what. But overall, pitching wise, I thought we did decent. Obviously, there's a couple of guys that in certain spots that would have liked him to have executed a little bit better. But as we get in deeper into this ball game or deeper into the season here with playoffs, you're not going to have as many guys pitching. You're going to extend your dogs a little bit longer and kind of lean on them to take you as far as you can, but then also understanding that's why they pay you the big bucks as a coach, is kind of, when to take your pitchers out, when to leave them in, when to take them out and visit. But that's, luckily I've been around these guys for 4 or 5 years. I'm pretty good at reading their body language and their verbals and kind of getting a read on them. So we just know that we got to throw strikes, we got to take care of baseball, and we got to hit the fastball. So going to try to do some of that this week as we get into Friday.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for stopping on by. Can't wait to see you back at home.
Thank you,
for
Pax.
districts starting on a Friday. That'll do it for us here. Quick stop post-game show. 27 locations open 24 hours a day. See ya on Friday, 7 o'clock. North Platte taking on Hastings for round 1